Ladies and gentlemen, Wild Sheep Foundation many years ago, launched through Gordon Eastman, the Gordon Eastman Grass Roots Award, and it's to recognize outstanding efforts, outstanding volunteerism, either to Wild Sheep Foundation or a Wild Sheep Foundation chapter and affiliate. And tonight, to recognize a great member and a great volunteer, a great and passionate wild sheep advocate, I'd like to introduce from Alberta, our Alberta chapter president, Rob Kopecki.
Thanks, Greg. I'm here very pleased to help present the Gordon Eastman Grass Roots Award to my friend Darren Cooney. I first met Darren and Barb, who now is his lovely wife, about 6 years ago when I was still living in British Columbia. I was serving on the board over there, and I came over to Alberta to take in their banquet. Darren was a very welcoming director and made sure I was well taken care of at their event. And I quickly learned that Darren does a great amount of work for the chapter. And now I feel lucky that I've had the chance to work directly with him on the Wild Sheep Foundation Alberta board for the last couple of years. Darren is life member lucky number 13 in Alberta. He first started helping Wild Sheep Foundation Alberta about 12 years ago. And about 8 years ago, he was convinced to become a board member and was elected about 7 years ago. In the 7 years on the board, Darren has only missed 2 meetings, and that's because he was out hunting. Darren helps out at most of the trade shows we attend and sells a ton of raffle tickets for our annual Hunt of a Lifetime raffle. In fact, most years Darren sells more raffle tickets than the rest of the board combined. All funds raised through this raffle go towards youth initiatives and our public education programs in Alberta. Darren enjoys taking new hunters in the field, whether they're young or old, and to show them what time in the outdoors is all about. He also helps out with our annual youth camp, which wouldn't be the success that it always is without volunteers like Darren. Darren works hard at all our annual banquets, doing whatever task is needed, and always manages to secure great donations. He is one of the go-to guys on our board, and you know when you assign a task to him, it will get done. I think it's fair to say that Darren has done a great deal for our chapter, and is one of the reasons that our annual event is the success that it is. Another one of Darren's significant accomplishments is starting our corporate sponsorship program in Alberta. In the last 6 years, this program alone has raised $140,000 for our chapter to help pay for our annual banquet. Now think about that for a second. That's $140,000 that we no longer have to pay towards costs associated with hosting our banquet, but instead is money we can use directly on the ground for sheep. That number still amazes me, and I know Darren has sponsors already lined up for this year's banquet, including one that has been with us since day one. I know that some of our present and past sponsors are in the attendance here tonight, so on behalf of the board, I want to let these generous sponsors know that we're thankful of their contributions and their willingness to help Darren continue his amazing work that has helped us put and keep sheep on the mountain in Alberta. Please join me in congratulating Darren Cooney.
Holy smokes. Gordon Eastman. I was probably 10 years old when High, Wild, and Free came out. I went and saw it. Now here I am a few years later accepting his award. I mean, it's humbling. I just listened to Rob here talk about what I've done for Wild Sheep Foundation of Alberta. I'm just here to tell you they've done more for me than I'll ever do for them. I'll just tell you a quick story why. A number of years ago I had a little bit of a wreck. I had 14 knee surgeries, 5 eye surgeries, got kind of put back together. Shortly after that I lost my dad and my brother. They were my best sheep hunting partners I could have had. We chased a bunch of Alberta rams around. We actually got a few of them. I took my backpack, my boots, and my knee braces, and I threw them in the basement and I left them there. I was done. 4 years later, I heard about a wild sheep banquet in Red Deer, Alberta. I thought, I'm going to go to that banquet. And I tell you, I went to that banquet, and she was some shindig that night. There was a guy at the table. He was a passionate sheep hunter. He sat there and he talked about the Yukon, he talked about white sheep, he just yada, yada, yada all night long. On the way home, I thought, I got to get back in this game. I dusted off my stuff, went to the bank the next day and borrowed the money, and I went to the Yukon. Booked a sheep hunt, went up there, put my knee braces on, and I hooked up with a guy by the name of Ryan Leaf. Ryan and I climbed around and up on those hills for a few days, and we got a nice ram. When I was up on that mountain with that ram, I got looking around and I went, I miss this stuff. And I thought I was back in the game. Thought about that banquet and that passionate sheep hunter at the table, yada, 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 all night long. Never shut up. That passionate sheep hunter was Kelly Weeb. I owe you, Kelly, big time. After that, it kind of snowballed. I joined up with the Wild Sheep Foundation of Alberta. I just do what I can do to help out. I do it for the sheep, I do it for our youth, and I do it because it's just the right thing to do. I'd like to thank everybody I've crossed paths with over the last 12 years from the sheep family. It's been a great ride, and I want to continue it. But most importantly, I want to thank my wife, Barb. You are the best hunting partner I could ever have, and you are my life. Barbie does a ton behind the scenes for Wild Sheep too, and she does it because it's just the right thing to do. I am honored to accept this award tonight. Enjoy the rest of the sheep show. Thank you.